This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening. This is Report of the Week here, and we are now on the air. I sit here at the microphone at 2:25 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August the 20th, 2014. It is August the 20th. This month is flying by. It is flying by, people. My goodness, that it is. That it is. Used to be 3 weeks until September. Then 2, now it's getting closer to 1 week since the start of September. Where is this summer going, people? Who knows? It's going somewhere. Winter is, well, it's not approaching yet. More like fall is approaching day by day. Certainly not the hot summer everyone has hoped for, but, you know, you still get a few warmer days here and there. But it's a Wednesday. It's Wednesdays, you know. Right now it's about 64 degrees. Yeah, mostly clear skies. It's 2:26 a.m. But temperatures are on the rather cool side. 80s pretty much for the rest of the week. Low 80s, upper 70s. They say next week a few 90s, but even a week ahead, a prediction could be a bit unreliable. And next month it's into the 70s, 72 degrees. They're saying for September the 1st. But regardless of day or week or month, regardless of temperature differences or seasonal changes, well, one thing won't change, and that's me. I'll still be here at the microphone as I am every other day for you. Okay. So here we are. Here we are. How are you? How are you doing? Well, I hope all is well. I do. Hope you're doing fine. We're approaching the midweek mark. Once again. The midweek. So, if you've been having a good week, well, at least we got 2 more days, right? If you've been having a bad week, well, thankfully, we have only 2 more days left. But it's a midweek. Hope you're doing well. That's what I'm trying to get out of this. Hope work's going well. Hope school's going well. Hope sitting around doing nothing is going well. Whatever it may be. Hope it's going well. Right? But yeah, one thing that's definitely, many people are thinking about. Yeah, September is just coming in fast. It's coming in fast, people. Less than 2 weeks, before it arrives officially. Unofficially for some, it's already here. At least weather-wise. I always like to compare things to the atmosphere and weather and what have you. And listen, this is September weather, at least over here. Cool, clear nights and only somewhat mild days, not like the dog days of summer. But then, at least, as you think about September approaching and fall approaching and the summer going away, at least you don't have the heat and the sun to continuously remind you of what's, being lost, right, for another year. But, yeah. For some reason, a lot of people don't like September. I'm one of them. For some people, it means going back to school. It could be, of any degree, really. It could be, well, I think college and university is already somewhat started in some places. But it could be going back to one of those, higher education. Could be going to other schools. I don't think there's any jobs unless you're a teacher. It means going back to work. Or for everyone else, even me. It's just a reminder now that summer's coming to an end and fall's rearing its ugly head in. And you might be saying, well, listen, what do you like about summer, And just look at yourself. You never even leave the house. And yes, I will acknowledge that. So what do I like about summer? It's nothing much, really. The heat. I'm not a big fan of the heat. The humidity, the thunderstorms. Well, thunderstorms, all right. So yeah, I understand. There's not a lot I could say I like about summer. Though there is one thing, and that is the night. All right. Well, what about the night? Isn't the night every day? And yes, I'm getting some water if you're hearing the noise. Yes. So what is it about the night that you like in summer and summer only, right? Because you understand my schedule. You understand my sleep schedule. You all know I'm nocturnal, right? I'm up at night, sleeping by day. Okay. So, with that being said, let's face it. When I'm up here at night, I sometimes like to head outside. And number one, I like to take my walks in the late evening or early night, I guess. Number two, even at late night, I'll sometimes step out and get a breath of fresh air. You can't really comfortably do that in the winter. Oh, sure, you could do whatever you want, right? You could get your legs to move and you could wander about. But you maybe can't do it comfortably in 23-degree weather with wind chill of -2, right? Blowing right in your face and freezing and have to worry about black ice and snow and this and that. So, that's one thing. I can't comfortably, go out and about in the winter and fall and early spring. But the summer I can do just that. So that's pretty much the one thing I like about summer. So you don't like going to the pool? Oh my goodness, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Anything but the pool. I'm not a big swimmer. I don't understand. I don't know. I just can't connect with the fish, right? I'm not a big swimmer, though. Yep. But, yeah. Enjoy it while it lasts. Truly, though, I think the most beautiful time of the year is the fall and even some of the winter. The fall, of course, with all the foliage and, I think it's always nice to see. The winter, I mean, yeah, I get it. When there's just snow and this and that, it could be a bit monotonous. It could be, what's the word? An exanimate landscape, But I think one of the most beautiful things about the winter is right when a snowstorm is coming in, right? When the snow first starts falling, that's always a beautiful sight. And then even during the midst of a snowstorm, you have the fresh snow still falling with the snow piling up and seeing it all reflecting in the night off of the street lights and stuff. I don't know, it's just a beautiful sight. How quiet it gets. And it's always nice. Well, if I had a little... the only thing, I'd go out there and at least observe it and enjoy it and what have you, but it's just too cold. If I had a little imaginary bubble of heat around me, right, I'd be out there, but otherwise I'll stay inside in the comfort of my residence. Talking about the seasons, and that's nothing that anybody wants to hear. Don't want to think about it, right? But I can't say, that the winter is really my favorite thing. Of course, physically it's absolutely beautiful. But number one, I just can't go out and, enjoy it, really. I don't know. Second, emotionally speaking, things always take a turn for the worse. I don't know if it's just circumstance and coincidence over the years, but it's just what has happened. So it's nothing to look forward to there either. But what are we going to do, right? So today, what have I been doing? Well, I woke up at 4:30. So I have not yet been up for 12 hours. But I woke up at 4:30. I listened to the radio for, solid up until around 6 p.m. What was I listening to? I was listening to, whatever was on. Listened to the BBC World Service, got the news, and a few other things. And in the evening, it went by. Sat around. Right, I chilled, but I sat around. Didn't do much of anything. And then, come 8 p.m., I got dinner. Oh, what did you eat tonight? 3 guesses. Yeah, Domino's Pizza. I ordered it. I got it delivered. I went for only but a large pepperoni pizza. Still got the box here. It's an empty box. But it was fine. Came down to like $17. So I gave the driver. He was a big guy too, but he seemed nice. So I gave him a 20, and I said, once again, the change is all yours. And in return, I received a fine pizza, which I consumed in its entirety. And for the rest of the night, pretty much from like 11 p.m. up until pretty much just now, I've been, once again, as I have been doing every night this week, I've been covering the events in Ferguson, Missouri, through various live streams and police scanner updates, and seeing what's going on from the front lines. I've been watching various streams, especially the Vice news team, and Russia Today, RT, a few others. There's one stream called I Am Mike Brown. Been watching his reporting. But, just when you think nothing's gonna happen, boom, it gets intense, Highlights of tonight were, the SWAT teams are coming in, arresting people and what have you. And then, everything just dispersed and, the streams, they all shut down one by one. That they did. But, unfortunately, you never know if anything's gonna flare up again or what have you. But, it'll be unfortunate if it did, but there's always that chance. I'm not going to offer any opinions here, I'm just telling the news, saying it as it is. Last night on the Vice stream, things got pretty heated. Shots were fired, all that stuff. They were in the thick of things, that's for sure. And of course I've been on various sites also monitoring this. Was looking at the Reddit live feed. Even just for curiosity, I was on 4chan checking out some of the threads there, seeing what they had to say. And of course they were going on the same thing that they always say. The race war is happening tonight. That's what they were all saying. And, I suppose everyone's entitled to their opinions. But, that's it. That's all I've been doing. And I'm pacing around the table, microphone in hand, with the 3 o'clock hour ever slowly approaching. Yep. Let's read the fan mail. Let's look in our mailbag and respond and read to our fan mail. See what we got. See what we got waiting for us here. We got that open. We got the mailbox open here. Let's look at the channel. Let's see if anything happened there. No, my channel is still in one piece. I have yet to upload anything tonight. Sorry about that. I don't think I will. I'm just not feeling it, so I won't. I'll upload all the content and all the stuff and all of that tomorrow when I wake up. So probably at around 6 p.m. And maybe I'll upload it a little. Maybe I'll upload it tonight, but I don't know. I'm just not. I don't know. For some reason, I got a feeling. Don't do it. So I'm gonna listen to that, and I'm not gonna do it. But if that changes, well then I'll upload it. But I don't know. So once I finish recording this, I figure I'll just let it sit a while, and that'll be that. It's just an inner feeling I got. No. Oh, who knows? Who knows? Got a review sitting here on the computer, though. That's for sure. What was I reviewing here? It's this was recorded the day of my my hospital fiasco, but here it was. Hello, everyone. This is Run on Empty Food Review. For me, I haven't filmed a food review in a bit. Today certainly shouldn't have been an exception, but we're filming one. Something happened today, but oh yeah, something did happen. What's today's review for? Twinkies. Yeah, we reviewed one of the new Twinkies. So that's what you're getting. I guess it's better than pizza. So please don't complain. But it'll get up when it gets up. I don't think anyone will really be so upset that they'll have to go and slander at me and yell and this and that. I don't think anyone's gonna. I don't think it's that bad a thing. I don't know. Let's read the fan mail. Dear Review Bra, I have a comment and a question. Firstly, I don't know if I've already read this, but we'll read it again. Firstly, the comment: never forget what you are, Review Bra. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it could never be used to hurt you. Now, secondly, the question: say you have $50 and an empty fridge. What food would you buy with the money? Thirdly, have you tried ranch dressing on a pizza? It is delicious. Oh, interesting. I have not. And thank you for your words. Another question. $50 and an empty fridge. What about the money? Oh, that's easy. Pizza. Go over to Pizza Hut, buy a solid cheesy bites crust pizza. Solid. No comments, no questions asked there. Get a few wings from there. That's one thing. Number two, I think I'd go over to Domino's and get a pan pizza from them. You know, I think I would really just stock. I would also stock up on those wings from Pizza Hut. Wing Street, because they make some pretty good wings. I'm not gonna lie. The last weekend, I went over to Domino's for lunch, and normally, I get their boneless chicken, as my side. But I got their wings, and I can't say I was a big fan of them in the past, but they were actually alright, That's a little pleasant surprise. I might get them next week, maybe I won't. I don't even know if I'll be going to Domino's next week. Might switch it up with some Pizza Hut. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds. And I have not tried ranch dressing on a pizza. I have not. I have a question for you. This is a different person. Picture yourself in ancient times, whether it's in the Roman period or the medieval times. What do you think you would be? Would you be a famous warrior like Achilles? Someone like Leonardo da Vinci, or perhaps a wise king? Yeah, it's very interesting. The far past, right? I've actually thought about the past a lot. No, most of the time I've thought about, the 1800s, early 1900s. But even further back, the medieval era, all the way back, to the age of the Roman Empire, and following that, the Dark Ages, all of that. And, what would I be? Well, chances are, assuming, for instance, if I went back to that period, and I retained all the knowledge I did now, I'm sure I'd be killed, I'd probably be, I don't know, I'd probably end up being killed by the church or something, if it was in a certain period. Otherwise, I might end up being, people might treat me as some sort of, mystic or something. I highly doubt that. Chances are I'd just be a peasant, working in the fields. I guess I'd be a little more fit, than I am now. But, I guess I'd have to get used to wearing rags. I guess if I became an inventor, though, or even a wise king, well, then I wouldn't have to worry about that. And I'd be eating some solid food, but then I'd have to worry about someone trying to poison it. It'd certainly be interesting, but, the lifestyle would be a different one. If you were royalty and you were living a comfortable life, it would be awesome, having these big feasts and everything, and literally just doing whatever you want and getting away with it. But, and then there's everyone else, I was also just thinking about the past. I was thinking about myself, and I was thinking, what if I was, around, say I just came about in even just the 1980s or even the 1990s before, the internet got real big, right? I'm the same age as I am right now. How different would I be? And I realized there's only one difference. Before the internet, I would just be, oh, that weird guy. Now with the internet, oh, that weird guy that does the food reviews. So there's no difference really. That's just an interesting topic to think about. Time, right? Always progressing. Sometimes I think it's not progressing for the better, and other times I disagree with myself. Continuing on. Hello. I just heard in your latest VORW that you discussed women's clothing. And I want to tell you, in case you didn't know, they do make suits for women. They come with jackets and matching pants or skirts. Just let you know. Take care. Well, thank you. Hello from Australia. I'm a very big fan, and I was wondering if I could send you an Australian reading to review. It's called Mother, and it's drink made by Coca-Cola. My personal favorite. I'll think about it. I will think about it, my friend. Hey, rap bra. Do you feel that the negativity and hateful words that you've received here on YouTube have led to the wisdom you might have attained otherwise? In other words, do you think if you had created your YouTube, would have developed into a different, possibly less mature individual? That's a very interesting question, and that's actually something that I was also thinking about pretty recently. I kid you not. And, last night, late last night, I was sitting there again, taking it out on myself, thinking about this channel, and, that was an interesting thing that I was actually thinking about last night, about this channel. I thought, how would things be different? How would things be different, if I never decided to be online? If I just never went ahead with this YouTube channel, if I just said, yeah, it's a cool idea, but I don't know, I don't think I'm going to do it. Oh, I would be a different person, that's for sure. Would I be a better person or a worse person? I cannot determine. But I think I'd be more like my old self, right? But I really can't say. I really cannot say. Because I think I would be more like the self I was, right, back in 2012 than I am now. Because back in 2012, mind you, I got so much stuff I have to deal with this channel here, I seriously have to treat it like it's a full-time job, alright? I seriously have to do that. I mean, no joke, okay? That's weird. I had to write something down, that's weird. Strange coincidence. Oh well. I'm not gonna lie to you here, I accidentally almost caught the microphone, but I almost dropped it. And, there was a whoosh of air in the microphone that would be substantially loud if I left it in, so I'm going to have to edit that second out. So I wrote down the time, that would be 23 minutes, 27 seconds. And then I looked, and the last time that happened was 23 minutes and 27 seconds in, the exact same time. And I find that a little bit weird, down to the second, but, strange. Weird coincidence. But where were we here? So, don't you think? I've thought about that. And, I think I'd be more like the person that I was back in 2012. Because I treat this channel, mind you, and I'm going to go on about this maybe for a little while, because we have literally about 2 messages left, well, a little more than that. But, I mean, the fan mail turnout's getting lower and lower, and fan mail plays a substantial role in this show. So, what I ask is, I mean, the turnout is acceptable with fan mail, but if it gets any lower, that could be a problem. I'll run out of things to say. So even if you have stupid questions, don't go around looking through these shows and thinking, has someone asked this before? Don't do that. I'll gladly answer a question twice, okay? It's no problem of mine. Alright, so if you have questions to ask, if you have any comments, just leave them, alright? I don't care if they're redundant. I don't care, if it's repetitive. Feel free to just send them, message me, and, let's keep this turnout of messages somewhat, plateauing here, right? Because it plays a substantial role in this show. I talk about it, I answer it, and helps me go on different tangents and stories and different topics. So that helps carry this show along. But I mean, you know what? If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We'll work around it, and it's fine. But where were we here? So I think I'd be like I was in 2012, because back then the channel was just a little hobby thing. It wasn't anything. It didn't take up a massive part of my life. It was just something I would do every week. I didn't even stay true to my name, the Report of the Week. I was putting up sometimes shows every 2 or 3 weeks because, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just something I did, for fun. Nowadays, I have so much stuff going on. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. For someone who just does, reviews, right? But, I sometimes I gotta treat this channel like it's a full-time job half the time, I seriously do. So it takes up a much bigger deal in my life now. And it has obviously greatly influenced my life. And I don't know, I kind of find that I'm kind of ashamed of myself to see how much it's influenced my life, right? Because it's just a sign of the information age and how much this technology could influence someone's life nowadays. And I don't know, I'm kind of ashamed of that. I'm kind of ashamed of myself for letting it do that to me, but what's done is done, and that's that. But yeah, I don't like saying less wise and less mature, because that's implying, that I am wise and mature now. And while I would like to think of myself as so, I can't get myself to say that, I don't know. I am the way I am. Maybe I am both of those, but I myself, I can't get myself to say that. But I think I'd be as I was in 2012. And that would be, well, this is an objective statement, but a funner individual. And, I don't know, well, yeah, I guess a little more immature. I'd be certainly, I'm sure, going around with a much more foul mouth, than now. And my social life would be even more deplorable than it already is, So that's one thing. Because, as I said, as I made my comparison to before the internet, this comparison works perfectly as well. What would I be? Well, I'd be that weird kid. Well, that's that weird guy now, right? No longer a child. I was when I started this. Well, I looked like one, at least. That was whatever. So you told me you're 14 now? Absolutely not. But, I lost my train of thought thinking about that damn thing. Oh, well, forget it. But, anyways, what would I be? I would be that weird guy, That's what I'd be. That's how I'd be known as, I'm sure. If I didn't have this channel, if I didn't have any online presence. Now, with the channel, I'm that weird guy that does the food reviews. That's it. This channel is something, once again, that a lot of people know me for, right? It's my marking. And once again, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a marking nonetheless. That's what I'm known for. I'm known as the reviewer, the lecturer, that guy in the suits who reviews the pizza. That's what I'm known. I don't know how it would be even, I don't know what I would be addressed as if I didn't have this channel. I think I'd just be that loner, Just that weird guy, that you kind of feel sorry for, but, it's just, I don't know. It didn't happen, so I can't confirm anything, you know? Continuing. This one I respond to privately, and this one I shall respond to privately as well. Listen to me and listen well. The world does not want us to be different. The world wants us to be a brainless puppet that does what everyone else does because it is socially acceptable. Quote, I might not always wear a suit or speak like you, but I have great knowledge in the financial world and know a great deal about stocks, shares, and politics. I am different because instead of going out and trying to pick up girls and drink to death, I would rather sit home and read a book, sip my coffee, and get excited about reading the daily newspaper. You, sir, have won the lotto, because it is better to be like us than to be those people on the bodybuilding misc section. Thank you for your words. I suppose it is, I guess, better to be a little unique, you know. It all comes down to lifestyle, right, and what you choose to do, but, well, thank you for your words anyway. Certainly. Well, how many minutes are we in? I probably wasted a solid 20 minutes now. It's 30 minutes. We got half the show and, you know, very little bit of fan mail left. So I'll drag this out a little bit. The other report of the week. I just wanted to say I love your videos. I started watching off and on after the infamous Domino's Pan Pizza review. This summer, however, I rediscovered your channel and I've been watching at least a video or two of yours every day. I really enjoy the VORW episodes, and I hope that these continue for quite some time to come as I make my nights at work fly by quicker. I had a few questions on VORW 35. You mentioned that you were invited on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. If the opportunity ever arose again, would you consider going on a national talk show? Believe me, I've been... it's not a talk show, but I was asked to go on another big television show, and I ignored them. At least as of now, no, I wouldn't. You're making the wrong choices. Maybe I am. But I just don't know if all that attention, you know, would... I don't know, you know. I like the things as they are now. Because the problem is that, well, it would be an issue. You get a lot of publicity fast. And sometimes that could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. The worst. And, of course, it would be handled completely and totally different, right? And I handled it back in 2013. But it could still do a lot to you. Maybe not for the best. If you recall, you remember Justin Bieber, that scumbag, right? You know, he emerged. He came from YouTube. And look at where he is now. He's certainly not the person he thought he would be. Oh, he's rich, he's famous, he could do whatever he wants. You know. This and that. He's living the life. He's already retired, you know. He could just chill. But look at him. He's got so much fame and money and power, and look at him. He's an idiot. Oh, don't call him that. I just call him as I see him. That's what it did to him. It just turned him into a complete and total, pardon my language, but once again, I am calling them as I see them, a complete and total scumbag. Now, of course, he's drifted away from the mainstream, but still, otherwise, he was getting pretty much, you know, arrested every other week, this and that, and he thought he owned the world. He really didn't. But if I ever get, you know, asked to go on a big, like, late night talk show, I mean, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't waste a plane ticket, that's for sure. Just, it's not worth it, in my opinion. If I could do something from the comfort of my house, well, maybe. You know, but certainly not wasting a plane ticket for anything, that's for sure. Likewise, any plans to review things besides food and energy drinks in the future? Sounds like you enjoy reading, so perhaps some book reviews. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Once again, though, I plan on doing at least some sort of soft drink reviews maybe by next year, or later this year. So we'll see how that goes, really. I'm also a huge movie lover, so I was wondering what some of your favorite films are. I'm not a big a movie buff, if you're willing. But I'll watch a movie or two, every now and then. One of the most recent ones that I saw and liked was actually on the plane. It was, I saw 3 movies in a row that I thought were actually pretty solid. It was, especially this one called Captain Phillips. That one I really liked. I thought it was a fine movie. It was my type of movie. Secondly, what was the second one? I don't know, I forget the name. Oh yeah, it was called Gravity, about that, that was another solid one. And then finally, for some comedic relief, I felt kind of bad watching this on the plane, but it was Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa, and yeah, it was a red-eye flight. Of course, I was listening on the headphones, and I felt kind of bad watching that because I really had to stop myself from laughing on this red-eye flight where everyone was trying to sleep. Just trying to hold in laughter the entire time. It was a real funny movie. You may disagree, but, even myself, if all the suits and these reviews and what have you, even that, I'll still watch some of that stupid humor and didn't really get a kick out of it. I apologize if any of these questions have been addressed in a VORW. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You could ask the same questions every single time, and it's not going to bother me. Thank you for writing in. Thank you for your questions, my friend. Bonjour. Do you think that it is ever permissible for a country to do conscription? If conscription happened, and you could be, or were chosen, what would you do? Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because I've also thought about the draft. Right, they call it the draft here. Oh, the draft is never coming back. Don't worry about it. And chances are, at least here, it won't. But you can never say never, unfortunately. And that is for any circumstance. Good or bad. The draft will never come back. Well, most likely it won't, but it might. Just don't know. For instance, the U.S., unfortunately, World War III breaks out and the U.S. is losing. And the mainland U.S. is imminently to be invaded or has a high threat of invasion. Might be a draft. And what might come of that? Well, a lot of protest, surely. It'll be like the 60s again with Vietnam. But, what would I do? Well, I guess if it's during the draft, I don't know if they can turn any people being... I don't know if they could turn people back for not being physically fit enough to go. But I might fall into that spectrum there. With either the morbidly obese people or the people who are too thin, right? So, I don't know. Maybe I'll get turned back for that. Maybe I'll become a wartime broadcaster, but if not, if they take whoever they can, well, I mean, I wouldn't want to go. I really wouldn't want to be drafted. But I think there's just a part of me that I don't think I would be able to turn myself back. I don't think I'd be able to get myself to, to be like one of those hippies and burn the draft cards and what have you. And I don't think I'd be able to get myself to do that. I think, I'd really want to, but I think I'd just go anyways. And, if I went off to die in war, well, then that's that. That's my fate. But I just don't think I'd be able to get myself to be a draft dodger as much as I'd like to. But I'd be relying for my lack of physical strength and ability to get just turned back and say, you're too undesirable to even serve in time of distress, But you can't count on that. And thank you for writing in. You always ask very good questions, and thank you for that. what is your take on the whole Zoe Quinn story? And he gave me this link to pastebin.com. It says crude language and subject matter provided. Oh, there was stuff going on all on 4chan. It was on the R9K board. It was on, I guess the random board. It was on politically incorrect everywhere and every place. And he was even on Reddit and IGN and this and that. And you'd think it's on so many sites, right? Report of the week. You would know something about this. Oh, I know the bare facts, but otherwise I really didn't care. Pretty much, and now this is a potentially biased news source that I've been getting this from. So if you're really into this and you're a hardcore supporter of one side, note that these aren't my opinions. This is just the information that I have heard on this event. Well, apparently someone, I guess maybe from Tumblr or something, made some sort of game. I don't know if it was promoting depression awareness or if it was antagonizing those of the condition. But it was some sort of game about depression, I know that. And the game got all sorts of publicity and I guess positive attention. And then apparently, quote, apparently, facts emerged that apparently this person was using, I guess, her body to influence people's opinions. That's a nice way of saying she did a few things in bed. And I guess things ensued. I guess that's as much as I know here. I can't. That's that. And you know what my thoughts are on this? I don't know if that's just a biased lie, and it's really nothing at all. If that's the truth, and there's more to it. But what are my thoughts on it? I have none. Stuff like this literally happens all the time. And it's only because we're in this information age that gets any attention, Stuff like this has always been happening. People have always been using various tactics to get a one-up on the other person, or the general public, or whatever. It's not a surprise for me. It's unexpected. The reason people are making a big deal of it is because it's the information age, and everyone's got to share everything that's going on. And, things get popular that way. It's another example of it. I figure, well, if this happened or if it didn't happen, I'm exactly the same way. Nothing changed. Nobody died. No one's life was, well, at least as of now, ruined. So, I have no thoughts on it. I'm living my life. I don't let this stuff get to me. I don't let it influence me at all. It's just something that happens. It's something that always has happened. So I see no. I don't know. I just don't see anything to really say, oh my gosh, this is the biggest story of the year or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. Something that happened. Sorry for my... I don't know if this is the reply you were expecting from me, but... Hey. I came across this channel from various image boards. I think that means 4chan. I frequent. And let me say, I can't get enough of VORW shows. It's refreshing to hear originality and deviation from the usual in a YouTube channel. It brings even more pleasure to see that not only do you have a plethora of content, but that you are active. Well, thank you. And finally, what are some of your favorite games on the Gamecube when you were younger? Well, let's go over and find out. Now, mind you, people, that this was when I'm younger. So, there's no Call of Duty stuff right here, These games are from, they're old, as some would say. I don't consider them old at all, but people consider them old. Right, we're talking, from 2000, 99, 2004. Got a whole flashlight here. I got the Ps2 games out here. Sorry if I'm talking like I've got a cigar in my mouth, because... well, it's my house, I can do what I want. Holding the flashlight in my mouth here, because I gotta hold the microphone in one hand and the games in the other. So I'll talk like this. So we have the PS2 games here, Alright, let's position the flashlight here. How's that? Let's get some light here. I'm just trying to get the flashlight positioned. I'm in this dark room. There's not really too much light here. Okay, so we got the PS2 games here. Let's get the GameCube games. So, here's one. Star Wars Rebel Strike. Rogue Squadron 3. I know that's one game that I played on that GameCube. I just get all the PS2 games out of here, so we can look at the GameCube games. That's what we are all concerned about. Oh yeah, of course, the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. That came with the original Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, and the playable demo of the Wind Waker. Alright, here we are. Here's most of the GameCube games. We have Luigi's Mansion, the original Pikmin, Star Wars Rogue Leader, Lego Star Wars 2, original trilogy, Mario Kart Double Dash, Donald Duck Going Quackers, Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. I remember that was a solid game. Lego Star Wars, the video game. Let's move this stack over here. I mean, I got a solid group of games, I'll say that. This was such a disappointment, I remember that. Ed, and Eddie, The Misadventures, I was such a big fan of that show, and then when I saw this game, I thought, oh my gosh, what is this? Of course, I was young, so I didn't have any foul language, so I didn't say, what the hell is this? But that's what I'm thinking now. Scooby-Doo Unmasked, maybe that's the one I was thinking about. Either way, we got both. Star Wars: The Clone Wars. That was a fine game. Though I beat it in less than a week. I only played for an hour a day, so it wasn't a long game. Like the original Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. That was an awesome game. That took me a while. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. If you could tell, I was a big fan of Scooby-Doo. This game was also kind of a bomb out. It was the Polar Express. Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door. Another bomb out of a game. Kids Next Door, Operation Video Game. Couldn't even play that one. Starfox Adventures. Let's see if we can get anything else here. These are PS2 games. We did have a good amount of solid PS2 games also. You ought to be thanking me for this. I'm devoting a lot of time to this. What else do we have here? Star Fox Assault, Lost Kingdoms 2, Pikmin 2, Super Mario Sunshine, Shrek 2, gotta love that. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, that's for GameCube. That's one of the most recent ones I got. Even that's 7 years old. Batman Vengeance, I wasn't a big fan of that game, but one of my friends, I remember way back in the day, loved this game, and I mean loved it. He would literally come over to my house every single day after school so we could play that, and I would just sit there and encourage him. Yeah, this game was alright. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. And this game was a real piece of you know what. It was let's see. NHL hits 2002. That means 2002. So that's obviously an old game right there. Let's move this stack of video games over here. Oh boy, what fell? Jeez. And then we got a solid stack of PS2 games. And of course it's nothing compared to what gamers today consider themselves to me. But in all due respect, at least back then, I mean, I was a pretty solid gamer. For a little kid. I had a solid stash of video games. I'm not gonna lie there. At least I feel I did. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I must have combining all of them, at least upwards of 100. And how many do I play? None of them. Though the other night I was actually thinking about video games, and don't you think at least for one night I broke out the PS2? The last time I ever even played a video game was in January, so it's been a while. But I broke it out and I played from I think 4 until 6 a.m. I played Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, the original Battlefront. One of my favorite games for the PS2. And, I had fun. There was an issue with the controller at first, though. Whatever it was, I don't know. Must have been something. It wasn't with the joysticks. It was on the little keypad, I guess, for the PS2. If you know what I'm talking about, the little arrow on the left that could, the up arrow, I guess. Something must have been wrong with that because it was just constantly just whatever going up and up and up, and I thought the controller was broken, but after trying everything, I just unplugged it and plugged it back in, and that fixed it. So it must have been a communications glitch or something. But But I played it for 2 hours, and I thought for the past few nights, you want to do it again? And I said, nah, enough is enough. So I haven't to do anything more. Though for the Wii, I have a few games for the Wii. It's as far as I had ever advanced in the world of video games. But, it's as far as I got. There were no good games after that. Oh, yes. I tried one of the, one of those games, one of those, I don't know, those Call of Duty games. Yeah, but I don't know. It wasn't it just wasn't something I liked. And I think that was late 2010, early 2011, I think. Or maybe it was early 2012. I don't know what year it was. It was some year. Don't even remember which one, but it was Call of Duty Black Ops, right? I got it for the Nintendo Wii. It wasn't even my parents that got it for me for Christmas. It was one of my relatives. It's the same one who was trying to get me to be, I guess trying to, as a last-ditch effort to be normal, right? This is the person with the suits. So she got me instead of what I asked for. I asked for Christmas, this was many years ago when I was younger. I asked for, I don't know, some sort of tie or something for Christmas, and instead she gets me Call of Duty Black Ops, and she says, "You'll like this much more." I play it, and I thought, this isn't my type of game. So that's the most modern game I've ever played, and I didn't like it, and I will not progress any further. I shall play what I please. And recently I've been playing Mahjong and Pool, and that's the type of game I like, I'm not going to let anyone force anything on me. I'll take their suggestions, but I won't let them force it on me. We have a message that accidentally got in the spam box because there was a link in it. So read that, but first let's just check out the Reddit. Hello, sir. I've been watching your videos and I think they're awesome. Very well thought out, and you capture the viewer's attention. I love your suits. Very classy and gentlemanlike as well. Can I have a shout out in your next VORW, please? Love your work. Keep it up. Regards, TJ. Absolutely, TJ. You have an official report of the week shout out. Hope all is well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being around. And thank you for your words. Hope all is well. And I give you an official report of the week shout out. I think that's all for Reddit, though, really. This guy sent 28 minutes ago. He wanted to know if I had a P.O. box. I said no. P.S. I love how excited you were for that chicken fry review. Yeah, it was solid, but someone on I don't know, on I think it was some sort of social media site, some sort of site. I think it was Tumblr, right? They were saying that they were criticizing me or something. I don't know. Someone was telling me about this at the end of the video. I was pointing at the chicken fries box, right? And I don't know, they were making some sort of comment about that. What they failed to realize is that I was doing that sarcastically, And there I was pointing at the chicken fries box, right? And I was saying, that's it right there, that's a face of perfection. I was saying, that's a face of perfection. I thought, well, anyone can realize, like that's a sarcasm, the face of perfection at this ghastly looking, chicken fries box. Of course, it's better. But that was like, trying to emphasize, the over-the-top excitement. I don't know, I thought people would get that, but, you know. Sometimes I wonder why I do that, but, well. Finally. Hello, review bro. Hope you've been doing well and keeping busy. I was sorry to hear about your experience at the dentist. Hope it went well. I'm sure I'll hear about it in your latest VORW show, which I'm listening to right now. I had a very awful and similar experience to yours that left me with a great deal of anxiety for years before I got it fixed. As I said before, though, hope it shaped up to a smooth experience. I just got a new job at Trader Joe's. It's awesome. It's super fun to work. It's a super fun store to work for, and the food is delicious. You should review some of their frozen pizzas. I have yet to try them, but a bunch of them look really neat. I'm sure everyone at the company would love it. Speaking of pizza, I'd love to see you design your own specialty pizza from scratch sometime. Your own personal recipe to share with all of us. Maybe that's what you did with your design a pizza kit, but I have yet to watch it. You can make it big as a reviewer, and I hope you do. I think it would be perfect for it. You should review all sorts of crazy food experiments like that. And last but not least, I was happy to hear that you were into the 90s music like Oasis and Third Eye Blind. If you like Oasis, you should check out Spiritualized. They're one of my favorite bands. They sound a bit like Oasis, but are more experimental. You should also check out Neutral Milk Hotel. They are really weird, but their music is spectacular. Here's some links to their stuff. Hopefully you'll like it. He gave me a link to a song from Spiritualized called Hey Jane, and another one from Neutral Milk Hotel, In the Airplane Over the Sea, with lyrics. But that's it. That's it for this show. What have I been doing tonight otherwise? I told you I've been covering the whole thing in Ferguson. I've also been listening to the shortwave. There's this one preacher who was going over the top again. And, he was really, well, I don't know. He was just going over the top. So let me see if he's still going on, and I could maybe play a minute of his stuff for you. Yeah.
Only in my presence will there be protection. Only under my wings will there be a shield and buckler. Only in obedience to my word will there be strength, saith God.
I checked in on this guy with his station. He was still doing this an hour ago. He's still here.
Indeed, are a partaker of her sins. You cannot continue to support the false church system. You cannot, my people, continue to support the religious system of your nation. It is corrupt. It is corrupt. They are the blind leading the blind. You must separate yourself. You will only be in unity by my spirit. You will come in oneness by the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Some of those people, some of those over-the-top preachers are somewhat interesting to listen to, and others are just too monotonous. But, that guy, he was entertaining the way he screams and what have you, and, it's something to listen to if everything else fails. Oh, well. But that's it. I think I already told you what we're doing in terms of reviews. Recently, I've got some more reviews on the camera. Once again, I don't know. I have a feeling of restraint and hesitation. So I'm not going to upload anything tonight. I'm not. I feel no reason to. So I'll upload this tomorrow, as soon as I get up. And, that'll be that. But, in terms of reviews, I'll give you a little preview of the remix. I usually don't do this, but give a little preview of the remix. In the words of R. Kelly. The remix to ignition. Let's see what reviews we have on the camera here still. Well, the Twinkies review is going to be what's coming up. We also have a review for, I believe it's some sort of pizza. I don't know which one. Let's see, what is this here? I forgot what this review was for. Oh, it's for DiGiorno's Meatball Marinara. This one is another Twinkie review. This one is for their Supreme Pizza. And this one is for an energy drink. We just did an energy drink review last night. We did a review for Finally Monsters. I think it was their Kona blend, right? That Kona coffee blend. So we reviewed that. It was a Java monster. I was dressed appropriately. I was wearing a more Victorian outfit last night, going for wing collar and frock coat. You might be curious what I'm wearing today. I'm going with my blue dress pants, my blue pinstripe ones, for the same suit that I wore in my green energy review, for reference. But I'm not wearing a jacket or a vest this time around. So I guess 3-piece suit sans vest and jacket. Just wearing a white shirt and a nice blue tie. It's like a combination of blues. Not quite tie-dye, but it's a very, very nice one. First time I've ever worn this tie on camera. But I don't know, I don't think I'm going to... I don't know, I might do a review tonight. I might review those Oreos. So that might be something I'll do. Otherwise, though, just an uneventful night. Found an old picture of myself. Actually, I was sorting through some old pictures. Hence, you'll see, periodically behind me while I do these reviews, you'll see a picture there leaned up against the wall. Because lately I've been finding, at least sorting through old envelopes of pictures from me from years ago when I still photographed and recorded my life right with a disposable camera. And, organizing them. And I found a picture of me where I took a selfie before they were, deemed cool, back from, I think it was either 05 or 04. There I was. I took a selfie with a disposable camera, and, OMG, he's so cool now, right? He's the predecessor to this mayhem. But yeah, he's taking selfies before all you all. But that's it. Nothing more to say here, nothing more to do. Let's shut it down. Well, this is the Report of the Week here. This is the voice of the Report of the Week, VORW. Remember, recall, let your voice be heard. You have questions, comments, concerns, just want to talk, please write to me, please send me a message via YouTube. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Ask questions. I don't care if they're redundant. I'll get to them. I don't care if people have asked the same question in every last show. Ask away. Ask away. Please don't stop. Fan mail plays a quintessential, crucial role in this show and the continuation thereof. Do not falter, my friends. Unless, of course, you run out of things to say, then I can't blame you. But otherwise, if you have questions, if you have things to say, well, let them be heard. Let your voice be heard. I read and respond to the fan mail, beginning of each and every show. And from there, of course, I expand on it, and I'll go into stories. And that is what carries this show on, people. And without it, this show would be completely and totally different. So, really, it's because of you that this show is the way it is. And I say that in a good way. Alright? So please keep it coming. Of course, though, if you wish for your fan mail to be responded to privately, well, it will be. But please understand that it may take between 1 and 3 business days to get a reply. That depends on what's going on with my wife and what's happening and this and that. But I will get a response to you. Well, this is the Report of the Week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I'll see you later. Goodbye.